Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the Tangram Vector. Pretty cool little knife. So let's jump right in with some size comparisons. So, let's wipe off that blade first actually. No one likes dirty knives on their videos. Alright, so let's start off with our usual Civivis. Here's the Elementum. So yeah, it's just about Elementum size. Here he is against the Praxis. So obviously quite a bit smaller than that guy. Here he is against our Benchmade Bug Out and our Spyderco PM2. Oh man, it's beautiful. 3 blue knives on the table, which itself is blue. Be still my heart. If you're new to the channel, I love blue. Alright, next up, let's get our rats out here. Here's our rat 1. So, I mean, about rat 1 size, just about. Here's the 2. There we go. Also, if you hear any annoying sounds throughout the course of this review, it's the neighbor that away from me. She thinks she's a singer or something, I guess. Anyways, what do we want to compare him with now? I mean, we don't have to do anything else, but I like showing you guys a lot of knives. I love you. So there it is against the Feldspar. Bring out my favorite knife of all time. Here he is against the 8015 from Cold Steel, which completely dwarfs him. I think I only bring out the 8015 because it's my favorite knife, and I just like bringing it out to dwarf basically everything else I get on the table. And yeah, what the heck. Here he is against the Sincut Scepter. So again, pretty comparably sized. And the Kershaw Bare Knuckle. Alright, now that you've seen this knife compared to all kinds of stuff, hopefully there's at least one of those that you've handled and can use as a reference. So, Tangram. What is Tangram? Well, they are or were the budget brand for, or the budget line for Kaiser. They haven't released a new model in a while, but you can still find these on Amazon pretty readily. So this is a little knife with aluminum scales. It does have full steel liners, and it's a button lock. And this knife is about 25 bucks. So, pretty excited about this. I've had this knife for quite a while, been carrying him for quite a while. Let's go do some cutting and talk about him a little more in depth. Alright, let's cut some cardboard scraps with our Tangram Vector. First we'll just do kind of a long... I do miss having big cardboard, but big pieces of cardboard to cut, but really with this guy it doesn't really matter. This is a small knife, very small knife. In hand though, it's pretty comfortable. As you can see, I can get 4 fingers on there. Yeah. The blade does have a slight recurve. Classic drop point. Oh my gosh, do you hear that hideous sound? Neighbors. I miss living in the country already. This knife, very thin, very slicey. Recurves are good for stuff like cardboard. Cutting. Blade steel on this guy is a Kudo 440, which I don't know a ton about, but it seems to do all right for me. It really does. I've had this guy for quite a while. I've never really had any big problems. All right, let's go talk about this guy a little more in depth. All right, Tangram Vector. Here he is in the pocket. So this clip, pretty small little clip. The knife itself is pretty unobtrusive. It hangs out there in the pocket pretty well. Got no complaints there. It carries good. The weight on it isn't anything to really worry about. Let's talk a little bit about the knife itself. As you can see, these aluminum scales are very, very nicely machined and shaped, and I just think they're really, really good. And they're blue, so they get a lot of points there. Again, button lock. This is running on washers. Action is very good. No complaints with this action. And especially for a $25 button lock, this is really, really nice. Overall, I think this knife is very nice in general. So, big fan of that. Thumb studs are dual. Button locks are usually pretty friendly for left-handed and right-handed people, but the clip is not reversible, unfortunately. What else do I have to say here? Not much. It's just, man, it's a fun knife to play with. All right, let's get back to the table and talk about what I like and what I don't like about the Tangram Santa Fe. Or, this isn't the Santa Fe, this is the Vector. All right, the Tangram Vector. What do I like? What do I not like? As always, we'll start out with the likes. The action. Whoops. Very good action. Nothing to complain about. Button lock. Very, very nice. Easy to operate. Good thumb studs. Washers. Bronze. Just fine there. Also, the scales here. I just think these are very beautiful. You know, when I first bought this knife, just from seeing pictures of it, the pictures didn't really do it justice. I saw that it had this, these milled lines in here, but, there wasn't this kind of reflectivity in the pictures that I saw online. And so I got the knife, and I was expecting these to be plastic, especially for the price that I paid. I was expecting this to be plastic. I remember opening it up and getting it out, and I was like, oh, that's aluminum. What? And then, of course, I went back and read the specs. I was like, oh, yeah, it is aluminum. Always read the specs, people. Always read the specs. But yeah, I think this is just very beautiful. It is slippery. It is a little bit slippery. And, there's not any jumping on the blade, but I don't think these are a real big issue. And I'll talk about that later. Next up, it carries beautifully. This knife is so easy to carry. If I'm, going to town on an errand or something like that, it's pretty easy to just slip this knife in your pocket, forget about it. So I like that a whole lot. The clip is not reversible, which is a shame, but I think the clip actually works really good for this knife. You see it just has a little swoop up, and it does have good spring tension, so it's a completely fine clip. The weight on this guy, nothing to worry about. You can actually see in there that it has been skeletonized on the liners, so that's pretty cool. The weight, it doesn't weigh anything worth worrying about. The blade itself is very nice, even though, recurves aren't usually something I seek out in a knife I'm going to carry, but I do appreciate a recurve sometimes. I do appreciate it. It makes, especially a tiny knife like this, it gives it slicing power that's a little bit greater than you might otherwise expect. Blade stock, very thin. Ground, very, very thin. This knife is extremely thin behind the edge, which I appreciate. Ergos are good. Again, a little bit slippery, but doesn't really matter too much. I have this choil here, but I think it's placed okay. You can kind of choke up there, but I wouldn't really recommend it. How long is that blade exactly? I can't remember. Let's reach in here and grab out my little ruler. There it is. So we're looking at over here so I can get an accurate measurement. Yeah, just under 3 inches. So it's going to be good for a lot of people legally. That's always nice to see. What do I not like? For one, the lanyard hole I think is, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of the way they did the lanyard hole. Centering is off just a tad, but really not much to worry about. I mean, there's really not much to complain about. Oh, I do wish the clip was reversible, but again, I mean, that's only going to be a problem for some people, but I do wish it was reversible. Which, I would complain about the slickness and the lack of jimping, but this knife here, this is a small knife. This is a small EDC knife. And I could even consider this to be a gent's knife. And the price, we need to talk about the price. $25, between 20 and 25 bucks for a button lock with a good action and a decent steel. I mean, the blade steel, the Akuto 440, I don't know a whole lot about, like I said, but it seems to do pretty well for me. And so, you know, 25 bucks for a knife with this kind of milling on aluminum, a great action, a button lock. Yeah, that's good. One thing that I was going to talk about in the bad, but it didn't really seem to fit, was Tangram as a company. You know, this was Kaiser's budget line. I think they're exclusive to Amazon. You can still find these on Amazon pretty readily, but Tangram hasn't come out with any new models in quite a long time. So I don't know if they're gone or what, but in my opinion, this is one of their best models from Tangram. I think it looks great, functions great. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good. So what are my final opinions? Yeah, if you want this knife, I see absolutely no reason not to get it. If you're looking for a button lock but don't have a lot of money to spend, I can point you to this guy. If you're looking for a fancy kind of gent's knife and don't have a lot of money to spend, I could also point you to this guy. This also comes in a black, but why would you want the black when this beautiful blue is offered? I mean, come on. But, I mean, in all seriousness, this I think this is a fantastic little knife. And in fact, in the world of budget knives, I think this stands out. Not just because of the price, but also because of, I mean, there's not too many budget button locks. So, that's my final conclusion on this guy. It's a great budget knife, great price, great design, and there's absolutely no reason not to get one if you want it. All right, I've been Gideon Stuff. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.